What if mastering life wasn't about luck, talent, or hard work alone? In this audiobook, uncover the hidden rules of success, influence, and fulfillment. From building unstoppable energy to leaving a lasting legacy, your roadmap to mastering life starts here. Are you ready? Introduction. Mastering life as a strategic game. Welcome. By choosing to listen to this audiobook, you've already taken the first step toward transforming the way you approach life. You may have felt at times that life is unpredictable, chaotic, or unfair, that success, happiness, and fulfillment are reserved for a lucky few. The truth, however, is that life is not random. Life is a complex, strategic game, full of patterns, opportunities, and consequences. Like any game, there are rules, some visible, some hidden, and understanding these rules gives you a distinct advantage. This book is about giving you that advantage, the awareness, mindset, and actionable strategies to play deliberately, consistently, and effectively. It is designed to shift you from drifting through life on autopilot to mastering the principles that drive success, influence, and fulfillment. The purpose of this audiobook is simple but profound: to equip you with a framework for life that turns ordinary decisions into extraordinary outcomes. Many people measure success by superficial metrics: money, titles, recognition, or fleeting pleasure, without understanding that true fulfillment comes from aligning your decisions, energy, and actions with deeper purpose and intentionality. Life is more than a series of events. It is a web of choices and consequences, and mastering it begins with understanding that your thoughts, decisions, and habits compound over time. This audiobook will show you how to build momentum in every dimension of life, from relationships and health to productivity, wealth, and legacy, transforming ordinary daily actions into a life of extraordinary impact. To illustrate this, consider real-life examples of people who have won at life. Entrepreneurs who transformed small ideas into thriving empires didn't rely on luck. They applied deliberate strategies, leveraged relationships, and made high-value decisions consistently over time. Athletes who reach peak performance understand that talent alone is insufficient. Success requires mastery over mindset, energy, discipline, and focus. Mentors, leaders, and changemakers turn adversity into opportunity, using setbacks to build resilience and impart wisdom that elevates countless others. The common thread among these individuals is not innate brilliance or fortune. It is awareness, strategy, and disciplined action. This audiobook is designed to provide you with the same tools and insights, enabling you to play the game of life consciously and deliberately. Yet most people stumble into common pitfalls that prevent them from reaching their full potential. Indecision leads to wasted time and missed opportunities. Procrastination stalls progress and drains momentum. Mismanaged energy results in burnout, frustration, and unfulfilled potential. Poorly chosen relationships and lack of influence create unnecessary friction and limit growth. Reactivity, responding to circumstances instead of proactively shaping them, keeps people trapped in cycles of frustration, mediocrity, and stagnation. This audiobook addresses these pitfalls head-on, providing not only a framework for understanding them, but also practical, step-by-step strategies to overcome them. The lessons here are not abstract. They are actionable, designed to integrate into your life immediately. So how should you use this audiobook to extract maximum value? Treat it as a mentor speaking directly to you. Listen actively. Pause when something resonates. Reflect on its application in your life and take notes. Engage with the exercises at the end of each chapter. They are designed not just to reinforce the ideas, but to create meaningful change in behavior, decision-making, and mindset. Consider each chapter a module in a personal mastery program, each one building upon the last to gradually transform your thinking, habits, and approach to life. The goal is not simply to finish listening. The goal is to internalize these principles and apply them consistently. Life mastery requires a mindset shift from reactive living to intentional action. Your life is the sum of your decisions. Each thought, action, and habit compounds over time into either momentum or stagnation. Strategic individuals understand that mastery begins with awareness, observing patterns in their life, evaluating choices, and directing energy where it creates the highest impact. They prioritize long-term value over short-term gratification, focus on high-leverage activities, and cultivate resilience against inevitable challenges. The lessons in this audiobook are designed to guide you through this shift, providing both a philosophical framework and practical tools to act on it. To facilitate this transformation, this audiobook is structured around 10 core dimensions of mastery, each providing a foundation for the next. You will learn to cultivate a powerful, resilient mindset, harness emotional intelligence, manage your energy and health, optimize your productivity, and navigate relationships with influence and integrity. You will discover strategies for financial intelligence, continuous learning, adaptability, and purpose-driven action. Finally, you will explore legacy, how to leave a meaningful impact that outlives your physical presence. Each of these domains is interconnected, creating a comprehensive blueprint for deliberate living and sustained achievement. Active engagement is critical. For example, as you listen, reflect on your own recurring patterns and behaviors. Ask yourself, which decisions have compounded success in my life? Which choices have held me back? Identify areas where energy is wasted or misdirected, relationships that drain rather than uplift, and habits that no longer serve your purpose. Take the time to map your priorities and goals and evaluate daily actions against these benchmarks. These reflections will allow you to internalize the strategies and principles in a way that transforms them from abstract concepts into living practices. Mastery also requires patience and consistency. Transformation is not instantaneous, and no single chapter or exercise will solve everything. Think of this audiobook as a journey, a step-by-step guide, a mentor walking alongside you, providing insight, guidance, and challenges that stretch your thinking and actions. Growth comes from consistent application, reflection, and iteration. Celebrate progress, no matter how small, and view setbacks as learning opportunities. By embracing this approach, you cultivate resilience, self-awareness, and momentum, qualities that amplify every action you take. Finally, this audiobook is designed to reframe the way you see life itself. Life is not merely a sequence of events to endure, it is a strategic game to be played with intention, creativity, and purpose. Every decision you make is a move, every relationship an opportunity for growth, every challenge a chance to demonstrate resilience. By understanding the principles outlined in this book, applying them consistently, and reflecting on your progress, you gain mastery over the elements that truly determine fulfillment, success, and lasting impact. You are no longer a passive participant. You are an architect of your reality, capable of shaping the trajectory of your life and leaving a legacy that matters. So, as you prepare to begin this journey, take a deep breath and center your focus. Commit to listening attentively, engaging actively, and applying what you learn. The game of life is waiting, and every principle, strategy, and reflection in this audiobook is a move toward mastery. With clarity, intentional action, and consistent application, you have the power to shape your life, achieve your goals, and leave an enduring impact on the world around you. This is not just a book or an audiobook, it is your roadmap to mastering the game of life, and your journey starts here. Chapter 1. Unlock the hidden rules of life that nobody taught you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that life isn't just a random string of events, that every choice you make, every move you play, follows a hidden set of rules. Imagine that you've been playing a game your entire life without a manual, without knowing the strategies that could multiply your success, happiness, and fulfillment. What if I told you that mastering the game of life is not about luck, about being born into the right circumstances, or even about working harder than everyone else? It's about understanding the invisible structure behind your daily decisions, your mindset, and your habits, and then using that understanding to move confidently toward the life you want. This book isn't a pep talk or a motivational speech you'll forget by next week. It is a practical, step-by-step blueprint to take control of your life in a way that is both profound and surprisingly simple once you start seeing the game clearly. By the end of this audiobook, you will have the perspective of a strategist, the focus of a champion, and the clarity to begin playing life on your terms. Let's start with a simple truth. Life is a game. But unlike a board game with clearly printed rules and defined moves, the game of life is subtle, messy, and often unfair. And yet, the patterns are there. People who win in life, those who consistently achieve their goals, maintain fulfilling relationships, build wealth, and preserve their health, aren't necessarily smarter, luckier, or more talented than everyone else. They have learned to recognize the rules, anticipate moves, and play with intention. They know that their life is not a series of accidents, but a series of choices, each with consequences that ripple outward in ways most people never notice. If you can start seeing life this way, the perspective alone will transform the way you make decisions, handle challenges, and define your success. The first and most crucial step in mastering life is awareness. Awareness is not just knowing what's happening around you. It's understanding what's happening within you. It's recognizing your strengths without arrogance and your weaknesses without shame. It's noticing the habits that lift you up, as well as the ones that quietly pull you down. Without this awareness, all strategies, plans, and goals are built on a shaky foundation. Life will continue to feel like a series of unpredictable events, leaving you exhausted, frustrated, or stuck. But with awareness, every choice becomes meaningful, every action purposeful, and every setback an opportunity to recalibrate rather than a catastrophe to endure. In this audiobook, we will explore exactly how to cultivate this awareness, and more importantly, how to act on it. Equally important is mindset. Let me be blunt. Your mindset is the engine that drives your results. People often underestimate its power because mindset is invisible. It cannot be measured on a scale or tested in a lab easily. But the mindset of a person determines whether they see obstacles as insurmountable walls or as puzzles to solve. It determines whether they believe they are at the mercy of circumstance or in control of their destiny. A fixed mindset traps you in limitation, making failures feel permanent and challenges feel unbearable. A growth mindset, on the other hand, turns obstacles into stepping stones, failures into lessons, and challenges into opportunities for growth. Mastering the game of life requires building a mindset that is resilient, adaptive, and relentlessly solution-focused. Let's break this down step by step. Imagine your life as a board game. The first step is understanding the board, the environment, the rules, and the unseen forces that shape outcomes. Some of these forces are external: economic conditions, societal expectations, opportunities that arise or vanish. Others are internal: your beliefs, habits, and patterns of thought. The second step is understanding the pieces, yourself and the people around you. Every relationship, every skill, every personal trait is a piece on this board. How you move these pieces, how you leverage your strengths and minimize your weaknesses will determine your trajectory. Finally, the third step is understanding the moves, the decisions you make each day, big and small, and the ripple effects they create. Every choice matters, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. When you start seeing life through this lens, you stop reacting blindly and start playing strategically. Most people drift through life believing that success is a product of random chance, luck, or even destiny. They wake up, follow routines, complain when things don't go their way, and call it life. But the truth is that you can control far more than you think, if only you learn the rules and commit to playing deliberately. One of the first secrets of life's game is that most people are playing it unconsciously. They are making moves without thinking, reacting to impulses rather than planning, and letting fear dictate their choices. When you learn to play consciously, you gain a profound edge. The edge isn't flashy. It isn't about being the loudest or the smartest in the room. It's about clarity, consistency, and courage in action. It's about knowing what matters and acting accordingly. Here's a practical illustration. Imagine two individuals starting a career. Both have similar education, talent, and opportunity. One drifts from job to job, reacting to circumstances, avoiding challenges, and blaming external factors for setbacks. The other starts with awareness, sets clear goals, develops daily habits, and anticipates obstacles. Within a few years, the difference is staggering, not because of luck, but because of consistent, intentional play. The principles we will explore in this audiobook give you that same advantage. They allow you to see the game, understand your moves, and position yourself for success in every area of life: career, relationships, health, and personal growth. By now, you might be thinking, "This sounds great, but where do I start? I feel overwhelmed." That is exactly where we begin. The first chapter of mastery is seeing life as a game. And to do this, you need to step back, quiet the noise, and analyze the patterns in your own life. Ask yourself, what moves have I been making? Which have advanced me, and which have held me back? What habits or beliefs are costing me silently, day after day? By honestly answering these questions, you set the foundation for transformation. You begin to move from being a passive participant to an active player. This shift in perspective is the most powerful move you can make. It rewires your approach to challenges, opportunities, and even failures. In the chapters ahead, we will dive into concrete strategies, how to define meaningful goals, cultivate self-discipline, make smarter decisions, build powerful relationships, manage money intelligently, optimize your health, and develop lifelong learning habits. But before any of that can happen, you must internalize this truth. Life responds to intention. Every small, deliberate step adds up. Every habit compounds. Every mindset shift transforms your trajectory. When you start playing with awareness, strategy, and purpose, you realize that life is not something that happens to you. It is something you shape. And that, my friend, is the first step in mastering the game of life. So as you listen to this audiobook, I want you to embrace one idea fully. You are already playing the game, whether you like it or not. The question is, do you want to continue playing unconsciously, letting chance and circumstance decide your fate? Or do you want to play deliberately, strategically, and with a clear vision of what winning means for you? The choice is yours, and the rest of this journey will show you exactly how to make it in your favor. Chapter 1. Understanding the game of life. Have you ever felt like life is happening to you rather than because of you? Like no matter how hard you try, the rules are stacked against you, and the people who succeed are somehow playing a different game entirely. Here's the truth. Life is a game, a complex, strategic, high-stakes game. But most people are playing it completely blind. They drift from day to day, reacting to circumstances, following routines they never questioned, and calling it life. The difference between those who struggle and those who thrive is not luck, talent, or timing. It's awareness. It's understanding that life is not random. It has patterns, forces, and rules that, once understood, can be mastered. This chapter is about giving you the first lens to see the board, the pieces, and the moves, and to begin playing consciously rather than by accident. Let's start with a fundamental principle. Everything in life is interconnected. Your choices, no matter how small, create ripple effects that shape your outcomes over weeks, months, and years. The people you associate with, the habits you maintain, the mindset you adopt, the way you spend your time. These are not trivial. They are your moves on the board. And here's the kicker. Most people don't realize how much influence they already have. They see life as a series of events beyond their control. Promotions that never come, relationships that fail, finances that never add up. The reality is that control is always possible, but it starts with seeing the game clearly. Awareness is the first skill of a masterful life player. Without it, you are reacting, guessing, and surrendering to chance. So how do you develop this awareness? Start by observing your own life without judgment. Track your actions, habits, and reactions. Ask yourself, which choices consistently lead to progress? Which choices lead to frustration or stagnation? Look beyond immediate results. A decision might feel harmless today, like scrolling social media for an hour, but it's chapter of a larger pattern that affects your energy, focus, and potential. Begin to see life not as isolated events, but as a chain of decisions with cumulative impact. This perspective is subtle but transformational. It changes how you approach everything: work, relationships, money, and personal growth. It's the difference between drifting aimlessly and navigating with precision. Another cornerstone of understanding life as a game is recognizing the unseen forces at play. Not all rules are obvious. Some are social, like the expectations of family or society. Some are personal, like your beliefs about yourself and what you think you're capable of. Some are structural, like the economic and cultural systems that shape opportunities. The key is not to be paralyzed by these forces, but to learn to navigate them strategically. Awareness allows you to identify obstacles early, anticipate consequences, and position yourself for advantage. People who fail often complain about bad luck, when in reality, they are just unaware of the underlying structure of the game. Those who succeed understand it, adapt to it, and leverage it to their benefit. Perhaps the most critical element in this chapter is mindset. Think of your mindset as the lens through which you perceive the board. A fixed mindset makes life feel like a series of unfair events. Setbacks are disasters, criticism is personal, and opportunity is scarce. A growth mindset, by contrast, sees patterns, learns from mistakes, and treats challenges as opportunities to develop skill and strategy. Mastery of life begins with cultivating a mindset that is alert, adaptive, and proactive. This doesn't happen overnight. It requires deliberate practice. Begin by questioning assumptions you've held about yourself and the world. Observe where fear or habit is limiting your choices. Replace reactive thinking with strategic curiosity. What can I do next that will give me the best advantage? Over time, this mindset shift rewires your perception and transforms your game entirely. Let's talk about clarity, another foundational concept. Without clarity, you are playing blindly. You might be busy, productive, or even superficially successful, but if your actions are not aligned with what truly matters, progress is chaotic and unsustainable. To gain clarity, start by mapping your life like a game board. Identify your resources, time, skills, relationships, money, and energy. Identify your obstacles, self-doubt, procrastination, distractions, and limiting beliefs. Then define your goals clearly. The board may be complex, but understanding your starting point and desired destination allows for intentional moves. Most people skip this step. They react to crises, chase distractions, or imitate others. You, however, are learning to see life as a structured game where deliberate moves create predictable results. Awareness, mindset, and clarity form a triad, the first skills of a life strategist. But there's one more essential element in truly understanding the game of life: perspective. Life is not linear. Progress is rarely a straight line. You will face setbacks, unexpected opportunities, and periods of uncertainty. Those who master the game understand that these are not punishments or accidents. They are chapter of the system. Perspective allows you to zoom out, see the patterns over time, and make decisions with the long view in mind. It is the difference between panicking over a single failure and using that failure as data to make smarter moves in the future. Perspective turns mistakes into lessons, challenges into strategies, and obstacles into stepping stones. By now, it should be clear that understanding the game of life is not about flashy tricks or hacks that temporarily accelerate success. It's about seeing the board, knowing your pieces, and learning the rules that govern outcomes. It's about cultivating awareness of self, others, and circumstances. It's about developing a mindset that interprets challenges as opportunities. And it's about maintaining clarity and perspective so that every move is intentional. Life is complex, but complexity does not mean randomness. Once you grasp this, you gain an enormous advantage. You stop being a passive participant and become an active, strategic player. Every choice matters, every habit compounds, and every insight reshapes your trajectory. This is your first step toward mastery, seeing the hidden structure beneath the chaos. Start observing your own life as a game. Notice patterns, identify the forces at play, and recognize where you have power. Accept that mistakes are chapter of learning the rules, not evidence of failure. Begin to cultivate a mindset that seeks patterns, embraces challenges, and acts with deliberate purpose. And finally, commit to clarity. Define what matters, map your resources, and chart your path. The game of life is always happening. The difference is whether you are playing unconsciously or playing like a master. From this point forward, you will start seeing the moves, the pieces, and the board, and your ability to navigate the game will grow with every deliberate step you take. Chapter 2. Defining your winning goals. Clarity is your secret weapon. Have you ever watched someone who seems to glide effortlessly through life, achieving milestone after milestone, and wondered, how do they do it? The secret isn't luck, and it's rarely about talent. The difference is clarity. Clarity is the secret weapon of anyone who consistently wins at the game of life. Most people wander through life reacting to circumstances, chasing fleeting desires, and following paths that feel safe or socially acceptable. They rarely pause to ask the big questions. What do I truly want? What will give my life meaning? If I could design my life intentionally, what would it look like? And this is where winners separate themselves. They don't just set vague goals like, I want to be successful or I want to be happy. They define precise, measurable, and deeply personal targets, and then they orient every decision toward achieving them. The act of defining your goals is more than writing down a list. It is the moment you take control of your life and start navigating with purpose rather than wandering aimlessly. The first step in defining your winning goals is absolute honesty with yourself. Many people fail because they set goals they think they should want, not what they genuinely desire. Society, family, peers, and culture often dictate what success looks like. Money, status, a certain career path, but these are not universal indicators of fulfillment. To define goals that truly matter, you need to dig deep. Ask yourself what excites you, what drives you, and what legacy you want to leave behind. This isn't a quick exercise. It may take hours, days, or even weeks of reflection, journaling, and internal dialogue. But this effort is worth more than any shortcut or productivity hack because the clarity it provides will serve as the North Star for every move you make. When your goals resonate deeply with who you are, motivation comes naturally, even in the face of obstacles. Once you've unearthed your true desires, it's time to turn them into clear, actionable goals. Vague aspirations are invisible. They cannot guide behavior or measure progress. Saying, I want to be successful or I want to be rich leaves you directionless because there is no metric for success or richness. Instead, break your ambitions into specific outcomes. What does success look like for you in tangible terms? Is it a certain income, a skill you've mastered, a level of fitness, a type of relationship, or an impact on the world? Define the endgame in as much detail as possible. And don't stop there. Consider the steps needed to get there. Goals are achieved not by wishful thinking, but by designing a roadmap of deliberate, incremental actions. By crystallizing what you want and visualizing the path to get there, you are creating a blueprint for life, rather than leaving it to chance. Next, you must learn to distinguish between short-term wins and long-term impact. Life is full of distractions and low-value opportunities that feel productive in the moment, but don't move the needle toward your true goals. A short-term win might be finishing a minor task at work, scrolling social media for temporary pleasure, or responding immediately to every minor demand on your time. These are easy to chase, but rarely lead to meaningful progress. Long-term goals, on the other hand, are often harder, requiring sustained effort, patience, and sacrifice. They may involve mastering a skill, building a business, nurturing a deep relationship, or improving health and mindset. Winners learn to prioritize actions that compound over time. Actions that, while challenging now, exponentially improve outcomes in the future. The ability to focus on long-term impact while managing short-term tasks is what separates consistent achievers from those who merely drift through life. Another essential principle in defining your winning goals is alignment with your core values. Goals without alignment are fragile. They crumble under pressure because they don't resonate with who you are. Think of values as the gravitational force that keeps your goals in orbit. If your goal conflicts with your deepest beliefs, motivation falters and obstacles feel insurmountable. Take a moment to write down your core values: honesty, freedom, creativity, family, health, contribution, or anything else that matters to you, and then evaluate each goal against this list. If a goal aligns, it will feel energizing, not draining. If it conflicts, it will feel heavy, stressful, or unsustainable. Alignment ensures that even when the path is tough, you have a built-in source of drive and resilience because achieving these goals is consistent with your authentic self. Visualization is another powerful tool to define and reinforce your goals. Winners don't just set goals, they live them mentally before achieving them physically. Spend time each day imagining yourself living the life you want. Picture the details: your morning routine, the people you interact with, the projects you work on, the feelings you experience. Visualization primes your brain to recognize opportunities, make better decisions, and act with purpose. It transforms abstract aspirations into concrete reality, making them feel not only possible, but inevitable. This mental rehearsal is not a trivial exercise. It is a critical strategy that has been used by top performers in sports, business, and creative fields to maintain focus, motivation, and strategic clarity. Of course, setting goals is not enough without a plan to measure progress and adapt. Life is dynamic, and rigidity is a trap. Regularly review your goals, track your actions, and ask, am I moving closer or further away? Be willing to adjust strategies without abandoning the ultimate destination. Reflection and feedback are essential because they allow you to learn, improve, and course correct. Too many people equate effort with progress, failing to recognize that working harder without alignment or clarity often leads nowhere. True mastery comes from consistent, measured, and intentional effort, doing the right things, not just doing things right. Finally, the process of defining your winning goals is about cultivating empowerment. Most people underestimate the degree of control they have over their outcomes. By clarifying your goals, you reclaim authority over your life. You stop being a passive participant and start being an active strategist. Every decision, every habit, and every relationship can be evaluated against whether it moves you closer to or further from your objectives. This shift in perspective is profound. Life no longer feels like a chaotic series of events. It becomes a strategic, high-stakes game where your awareness, decisions, and actions directly determine the results you experience. It is not always easy. Goal setting requires honesty, patience, and courage, but the clarity it provides is transformative. In this chapter, you've begun to see that defining your goals is not about wishful thinking. It's about intentional design. It is the foundation upon which everything else rests: discipline, decision-making, relationships, finances, and personal growth. If you skip this step or treat it superficially, the rest of your efforts will lack direction and impact. But if you invest the time, reflect deeply, and commit to actionable, aligned, measurable objectives, you gain a map, a compass, and the confidence to move decisively in life. Remember, clarity is power. Goals are your blueprint, and with them, you are no longer drifting. You are playing strategically, moving with purpose, and shaping the life you truly want. Chapter 3. Mastering Self-Discipline, your most powerful life tool. Imagine standing at the edge of your dreams, looking out at everything you've ever wanted, a life of freedom, success, influence, health, and fulfillment, but realizing that your biggest obstacle isn't circumstances, talent, or even opportunity. It's you. It's the quiet, persistent force of inaction, distraction, procrastination, and impulsivity that holds most people back. Self-discipline is what separates those who consistently move toward their goals from those who drift through life, frustrated and unfulfilled. It is the invisible muscle that transforms intention into action, dreams into reality, and potential into mastery. And the most remarkable truth is that self-discipline is not some innate gift reserved for a select few. It is a skill you can build, refine, and wield strategically to shape every area of your life. The first principle to understand about self-discipline is that it begins with awareness of your impulses. Many people struggle, not because they lack ambition, but because they allow fleeting desires and momentary emotions to dictate behavior. You want to eat healthy, but the craving for junk food wins. You want to study or work on a skill, but the lure of distraction takes over. You aim to save money, but instant gratification pulls you toward unnecessary spending. The disciplined individual recognizes these impulses, not to suppress them through force, but to observe, understand, and redirect them toward long-term objectives. Self-discipline starts with conscious recognition, noticing when you're being pulled off course and intentionally choosing to stay on the path that aligns with your goals. This is the fundamental choice, repeated thousands of times, that creates unstoppable momentum. Next, self-discipline is built through structured habits and routines. Habits are the compound interest of self-discipline. Every small action, repeated consistently, accumulates into extraordinary results over time. Morning routines, exercise, focused work periods, financial discipline, and mindful eating are not just routines. They are the scaffolding of your life. Successful individuals don't rely on bursts of motivation. They rely on systems that make the right action automatic. For example, instead of relying on "I'll exercise when I feel like it," a disciplined person schedules workouts at a consistent time, prepares gear in advance, and eliminates excuses before they even arise. The same applies to work, learning, and financial management. When habits are strategically designed and consistently executed, discipline becomes effortless. It transitions from a struggle to a lifestyle that perpetually moves you closer to your goals. But self-discipline is not only about routines, it is equally about delayed gratification. This is one of the most challenging aspects for many people, yet one of the most defining traits of high achievers. The ability to forego short-term pleasure for long-term gain is what allows someone to invest hours mastering a skill, saving money to build wealth, or staying committed to a healthy lifestyle. Human nature instinctively seeks immediate reward, but the reality is that almost every meaningful achievement in life requires patience and persistence. Delayed gratification is not about sacrifice for suffering's sake. It is about strategic investment. Every time you choose the disciplined path, you are effectively making a deposit in your future self's account, compounding benefits that will manifest exponentially over time. The more consistently you practice this, the stronger and more intuitive your self-discipline becomes. Another critical aspect is environmental design. Discipline is easier when you remove friction from good behaviors and add friction to bad ones. This means shaping your surroundings to support your goals. Want to read more? Place books within easy reach and reduce screen time. Want to eat healthier? Keep nutritious foods accessible and remove junk options from your environment. Want to focus at work? Eliminate distractions, set boundaries, and create a dedicated space for high-value activities. Environment is often underestimated, but it is one of the most powerful allies of self-discipline. The right setup turns productive choices into the path of least resistance, while bad habits require effort and thought to overcome. Over time, this structural advantage multiplies your effectiveness and reduces reliance on sheer willpower. A less obvious but equally important component is self-accountability. Self-discipline is strengthened when you track your actions, measure progress, and hold yourself responsible. Without accountability, even the most well-intentioned plans falter. This doesn't necessarily mean public accountability, though that can help. It can be as simple as journaling, reviewing daily actions, and honestly assessing whether you moved closer to your goals. Ask yourself questions like, did I follow through on what I said I would do today? Did my actions reflect my long-term objectives? Honest reflection is a muscle that sharpens decision-making, builds integrity, and reinforces discipline. Each time you hold yourself accountable, you strengthen the internal structures that make self-discipline sustainable over a lifetime. Of course, self-discipline is also mental endurance. Life will inevitably present challenges, temptations, and distractions that test your commitment. Discipline is not the absence of difficulty, it is persistence in spite of difficulty. The human mind is naturally drawn to comfort, but growth lies on the other side of discomfort. Embracing this mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities to reinforce your self-mastery. For instance, choosing to exercise when you're tired, working on a skill when you'd rather binge entertainment, or focusing on goals when distractions abound. These are the moments where self-discipline is forged. Over time, these repeated choices build an unshakable foundation of resilience that permeates every aspect of life. A practical strategy to strengthen this muscle is micro-commitments. Instead of overwhelming yourself with massive, daunting tasks, start with small, manageable actions that compound over time. Want to develop a writing habit? Commit to writing 1 paragraph daily. Want to improve fitness? Start with 10 minutes of focused exercise. These micro steps are deceptively powerful. They build momentum, reinforce identity, and create a chain reaction of discipline that expands naturally. Small wins generate confidence, and confidence fuels consistency, which in turn strengthens self-discipline at a deeper, almost effortless level. Another often overlooked element is emotion regulation. Self-discipline is not only about resisting temptation, it's about managing emotional responses that can derail behavior. Anger, frustration, boredom, and fear are powerful disruptors if unchecked. Learning to pause, breathe, and act deliberately rather than reactively is a cornerstone of mastery. Emotional control allows you to maintain consistency even in unpredictable circumstances. It ensures that your actions are deliberate and aligned with your long-term objectives rather than driven by fleeting moods. Over time, the combination of emotional intelligence and self-discipline creates a level of internal control that is rare and extraordinarily powerful. Finally, the essence of self-discipline is freedom through structure. Paradoxically, the more disciplined you become, the more freedom you experience. Why? Because discipline creates predictability, consistency, and control over your own life. You are no longer at the mercy of impulses, distractions, or circumstances. You can choose where to invest your energy, time, and focus with precision. And you can confidently navigate challenges knowing that your habits, routines, and self-control are on your side. Discipline doesn't limit your life. It amplifies it. It is the backbone of achievement, the foundation of growth, and the invisible force that turns goals into reality. Without it, potential remains unfulfilled, and dreams remain abstract. With it, you gain not only success, but autonomy, confidence, and a life that reflects the highest version of yourself.
So as you listen to this audiobook, recognize this truth. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of mastery. It touches every area: health, relationships, finances, career, and personal growth. It is the bridge between intention and action, between dreams and reality. Every time you choose the disciplined path, you are building a compound advantage that grows stronger every day. Start with awareness. Design your habits. Embrace delayed gratification. Optimize your environment. Hold yourself accountable. Regulate your emotions. And take micro steps that reinforce momentum. The disciplined life is not always easy, but it is always powerful. Master it, and you gain the ultimate competitive edge in the game of life. The ability to navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and shape your destiny on your terms. Chapter 4. Strategic Decision-Making. How to always choose the right path. Life is a constant stream of choices, yet most people move through it reacting rather than deciding, drifting instead of steering. From the moment you wake up to the second your head hits the pillow, you are making decisions, some insignificant, some monumental. And here's the hidden truth. Your results, your success, and even your sense of fulfillment are almost entirely determined by the quality of the decisions you make, not by luck, talent, or circumstance. Yet strategic decision-making is rarely taught. Most people rely on impulse, habit, or social pressure to decide, only to wonder later why they are stuck, frustrated, or off track. The ability to make decisions with clarity, foresight, and confidence is the single most powerful skill a life strategist can develop, and mastering it is what transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. At the heart of strategic decision-making is understanding the difference between reaction and action. Reaction is impulsive. It is emotional, often short-sighted, and rarely aligned with long-term goals. Action, in contrast, is deliberate. It is calculated, purposeful, and informed by insight and foresight. Consider a common scenario. You receive criticism at work. A reactive person may lash out, retreat, or ignore the feedback entirely. A strategic thinker evaluates it, extracts the useful lessons, and takes action to improve. The difference seems subtle in the moment, but compounds over a lifetime. Each decision, approached strategically, adds leverage to your life. Each decision made reactively creates friction, waste, or missed opportunities. Recognizing this distinction is the first step toward mastery. Another key principle is clarifying priorities before making decisions. Life offers countless options, distractions, and possibilities, but resources, time, energy, attention are finite. Every choice should be weighed against your most important objectives. Ask yourself, which option moves me closer to my long-term goals? Which decision aligns with my values? Which outcome will have the greatest positive impact? The most effective decision-makers don't chase every opportunity. They prioritize ruthlessly. They understand that saying no is just as powerful as saying yes, and that avoiding distractions is often more valuable than pursuing short-term gains. Prioritization is the lens through which strategic decisions become clear, turning chaos into opportunity. Effective decision-making also requires risk evaluation. Every choice carries potential benefits and potential downsides, yet many people either overestimate risk, paralyzing themselves into inaction, or underestimate it, plunging headlong into avoidable mistakes. Strategic decision-making involves assessing both the upside and downside, imagining possible scenarios, and preparing for contingencies. This is not about fear, it is about calculation, foresight, and preparation. By understanding the landscape of possible outcomes, you can choose actions that maximize potential benefits while minimizing unnecessary exposure. Risk becomes manageable, even advantageous, when approached with clarity and strategy. Closely tied to risk assessment is the power of delayed decision-making. Not every choice requires immediate action. The ability to pause, reflect, and gather information is a hallmark of strategic thinkers. Impulsive decisions often feel urgent but are rarely optimal. By contrast, taking time to weigh options, seek advice, and analyze consequences allows for informed, high-quality decisions. This does not mean indecision. It means disciplined evaluation. In practice, it is striking a balance. Act quickly when you must, but delay when strategic reflection will yield a better outcome. Mastery of timing is as critical as mastery of choice. A core component of strategic decision-making is learning from past experiences. Every decision you make provides data. Successes teach what works. Failures reveal what doesn't. Yet most people fail to extract lessons from their experiences. They repeat mistakes, ignore patterns, or chalk up results to luck. A strategic mind constantly evaluates outcomes, asks what could be done differently, and adjusts future actions accordingly. This creates a feedback loop where each decision strengthens your decision-making ability. Over time, this skill compounds, creating a mental map of choices, consequences, and optimal paths that guide increasingly confident and effective action. Another indispensable principle is aligning decisions with your long-term vision. Short-term satisfaction often tempts you into choices that feel good in the moment, but derail long-term progress. Strategic thinkers always filter options through their vision of the future. They ask, will this choice move me closer to the life I want in 5, 10, or 20 years? This long-term perspective shifts focus from instant gratification to sustainable growth. It allows difficult but necessary choices to feel purposeful rather than painful, transforming discipline into strategy and sacrifice into investment. Decision-making is also profoundly influenced by information gathering and perspective. The quality of a decision is proportional to the quality of information upon which it is based. Strategic decision-makers seek diverse perspectives, challenge assumptions, and question conventional wisdom. They understand that relying solely on intuition or habit is insufficient for complex or high-stakes decisions. By exploring multiple viewpoints, testing hypotheses, and analyzing evidence, they reduce uncertainty and enhance confidence. In essence, they turn ambiguity into clarity and complexity into actionable insight. Equally important is emotional management during decision-making. Emotions can cloud judgment, skew priorities, and lead to impulsive action. Strategic thinkers recognize the influence of fear, anger, desire, and attachment on choices. They pause to observe emotions, separate them from facts, and decide deliberately rather than reactively. This emotional discipline ensures that choices are aligned with long-term objectives rather than transient moods, allowing consistent progress even under pressure or uncertainty. Another advanced aspect is leveraging trade-offs. Life is rarely about perfect options. Most decisions involve compromises. Strategic decision-makers recognize trade-offs and make conscious choices about what they are willing to give up to gain something else. This awareness prevents regret, frustration, and wasted effort. Every choice has opportunity costs, and mastering this concept allows you to make conscious, empowered decisions rather than drifting or being dictated by circumstance. By consciously evaluating what you are exchanging for what you desire, you gain control over both your actions and your outcomes. Finally, the ultimate power of strategic decision-making lies in integrating decisions into consistent action. Choosing wisely is only chapter of the game. The real mastery comes from executing decisions with persistence, focus, and follow-through. Without action, even the best decisions remain hypothetical. They produce no results. Strategic thinkers bridge the gap between choice and outcome, designing plans, breaking them into manageable steps, and ensuring consistent execution. Decisions become the blueprint for life, and disciplined action turns them into reality. Over time, this combination of clarity, foresight, risk management, emotional control, and execution creates an exponential advantage, a life shaped intentionally, predictably, and successfully. So as you listen to this audiobook, understand this critical truth. Life is a series of choices, but most people fail not because they face too many options, but because they do not approach decisions strategically. By mastering this skill, through reflection, prioritization, risk analysis, emotional control, and consistent execution, you gain an unparalleled edge in the game of life. Every decision made deliberately and with foresight compounds over time. Your outcomes are no longer a roll of the dice. They are the sum of smart choices made consistently, intentionally, and courageously. Strategic decision-making is not a luxury, it is a necessity, the foundation upon which all mastery, wealth, relationships, and fulfillment are built. Chapter 5. Relationships and Influence, Your Most Valuable Life Currency. No matter how talented, disciplined, or wealthy you are, the truth is simple. Your relationships define your life. Success, happiness, opportunities, and even resilience in the face of adversity are profoundly influenced by the people around you. Yet most people treat relationships as secondary, social niceties to be managed casually rather than as the powerful leverage points they truly are. Relationships are not just about connection or companionship. They are a currency in the game of life. They create opportunities, amplify your strengths, and shape your identity.
Understanding, cultivating, and strategically managing relationships is a skill few master, but those who do gain a disproportionate advantage in every area of life. This chapter is about teaching you to see relationships not only as a source of support and joy, but also as one of the most strategic and influential tools you have. The first step is awareness of the people you surround yourself with. Your network, your friends, and even your casual acquaintances have a subtle but powerful influence on your thoughts, habits, and outcomes. Imagine your life as a mirror of the people closest to you. Their values, beliefs, and behaviors often become yours over time, consciously or unconsciously. Surrounding yourself with negativity, cynicism, or mediocrity slowly drags you down, while positive, ambitious, and insightful people lift you higher. Awareness begins with evaluation. Ask yourself, who energizes me? Who challenges me to grow? Who drags me backward without adding value? Once you understand the quality of your relationships, you gain the ability to manage them intentionally, preserving the ones that enhance your life and minimizing or transforming those that detract from it. Next, master the art of influence and effective communication. Influence is not manipulation. It is the ability to convey ideas, inspire action, and encourage alignment without coercion. In life, those who communicate clearly and persuasively achieve far more than those who struggle to express themselves. This skill is built on empathy, clarity, and authenticity. Empathy allows you to understand the needs, desires, and perspectives of others. Clarity ensures your message is concise and compelling. Authenticity fosters trust, the currency upon which all meaningful influence is built. When you combine these elements, your ability to affect outcomes multiplies. Influence is not about controlling others. It's about creating environments where collaboration and alignment naturally occur. Another cornerstone of strategic relationship building is recognizing the value of mentors and guidance. No one masters life alone. Seeking guidance from those who have navigated paths you aspire to walk is one of the most accelerated methods of growth. Mentors provide insight, shortcut learning curves, and help you avoid mistakes that could cost years of effort. But finding the right mentor requires intentionality. Look for people who exemplify the qualities and achievements you seek, and approach them with respect, humility, and curiosity. A mentor relationship is mutually beneficial. You gain wisdom and perspective while offering energy, assistance, or fresh ideas in return. The key is to approach mentorship not as a transaction, but as a chaptership built on trust, shared goals, and reciprocal value. Equally important is the strategic management of toxic or draining relationships. Not all connections deserve your time or energy. Toxic relationships, whether they involve negativity, envy, manipulation, or habitual criticism, act like anchors, subtly draining your focus and resilience. Learning to disengage from these connections is not selfish. It is essential self-preservation. This can mean setting boundaries, limiting exposure, or in some cases, severing ties entirely. By consciously choosing who you allow into your inner circle, you create space for positive influence, growth, and collaboration. The disciplined management of relationships is as much about exclusion as inclusion, curating an environment that serves your long-term growth and well-being. An often overlooked aspect of influence is reciprocity and value creation. People respond to value far more than they respond to requests or demands. If you want influence, start by creating value, helping others achieve their goals, providing insight, support, or resources. When you invest in others strategically, relationships deepen, trust multiplies, and your ability to inspire action grows exponentially. Think of influence as a bank account. Deposits build trust, withdrawals demand it. The more value you contribute, the stronger your relationships become, and the more naturally your influence grows. Those who understand this principle rarely struggle for support, guidance, or collaboration. Strategic relationships also require active listening and presence. Most people listen to respond, not to understand. True influence comes from understanding, asking questions, observing behavior, and noticing unspoken cues. Active listening communicates respect, builds connection, and opens doors to influence that superficial communication never will. Presence is the ability to engage fully in interactions, giving your attention and energy without distraction. In an age of constant noise and multitasking, presence becomes a rare and valuable skill. Those who master it create depth in relationships, making others feel understood, valued, and inspired, further amplifying their influence. Another essential principle is leveraging networks for mutual benefit. Life's opportunities rarely appear in isolation. Successful individuals understand that collaboration multiplies results. By connecting people, sharing opportunities, and facilitating partnerships, you strengthen your network, build goodwill, and enhance your own influence. Strategic relationship management is therefore not about extraction, but contribution. The more you help others achieve their goals, the more natural your own path forward becomes. This mindset transforms relationships from static interactions into dynamic systems of shared growth and opportunity. Conflict management is another critical dimension. Disagreements are inevitable, even among high-value relationships. What separates masters from the rest is not the absence of conflict, but how they navigate it. Strategic communicators approach conflict with curiosity and composure. They focus on resolution rather than ego, seeking mutually beneficial outcomes. By managing disagreements gracefully, you preserve trust, maintain credibility, and strengthen relationships under pressure. This skill is particularly important in leadership, partnerships, and high-stakes environments where the quality of interactions directly impacts results. Equally transformative is understanding the role of emotional intelligence in influence. Relationships are rarely governed by logic alone. Emotions drive behavior. Recognizing, interpreting, and responding to the emotional currents of others allows you to connect more deeply, anticipate reactions, and guide interactions effectively. Emotional intelligence builds rapport, reduces friction, and enhances persuasion. When combined with strategic thinking, it allows you to navigate complex social landscapes with grace and precision. Finally, the mastery of relationships culminates in legacy and impact. The relationships you nurture today are the foundation of your long-term influence and contribution. They determine not just your success, but the lives you touch, the networks you shape, and the opportunities that ripple outward from your actions. Strategic relationships are not transactional, they are transformational. They allow you to extend your reach, amplify your impact, and build a life supported by collaboration, trust, and respect. In essence, relationships and influence are the lifeblood of any meaningful, successful, and fulfilled life. They are the invisible infrastructure upon which every other aspect of mastery, career, wealth, health, and personal growth is built. So, as you listen to this audiobook, recognize this truth. Relationships are not passive elements of life. They are strategic assets, cultivated with intention, empathy, and action. Surround yourself with people who lift you, communicate with clarity, invest in others, manage conflict gracefully, and leverage networks wisely. Influence grows as you add value, listen actively, and engage with presence. And through these actions, you create not only a network of support and opportunity, but also a life that is richer, more purposeful, and profoundly impactful. Relationships are your most valuable life currency, and those who master them master life itself. Chapter 6. Financial Intelligence, Making Money. Work for you, not the other way, around money. It's a subject that provokes fear, desire, stress, and aspiration in equal measure. Yet despite its central role in life, most people never learn how to handle it wisely. They work tirelessly for income, spend impulsively, and hope for financial freedom without understanding the underlying principles that govern wealth. Financial intelligence is more than saving or budgeting. It is the skill of understanding money as a tool, a resource, and a multiplier for your life. Those who master financial intelligence are not simply rich, they are free. They make strategic choices, anticipate opportunities, mitigate risks, and use money to create options, security, and leverage. This chapter is about teaching you to see money not as a burden or a source of anxiety, but as a fundamental element in mastering the game of life. The first principle of financial intelligence is understanding money as a tool, not a goal. Far too many people equate money with success, status, or security without recognizing that it is the decisions you make with money that truly matter. Money in itself is neutral. It is neither good nor bad. Its power lies in its use. Can it create security for your family, freedom to pursue meaningful work, or leverage to invest in opportunities? Or does it vanish as quickly as it arrives, consumed by impulse spending and poor planning? Seeing money as a tool reframes your approach. Every dollar becomes a strategic resource to be allocated intentionally toward growth, stability, and long-term objectives rather than a fleeting reward or source of stress. Closely tied to this is the principle of income diversification. Relying on a single source of income is risky, no matter how stable it seems. Even the most secure job can vanish due to market shifts, automation, or unforeseen circumstances. Financially intelligent individuals create multiple streams of income through investments, side ventures, intellectual property, or passive revenue streams. Diversification is not merely about accumulating money, it is about building resilience and freedom. When one source falters, others support your life and goals, creating stability and reducing anxiety. The broader principle here is control. By generating multiple income streams, you gain autonomy over your financial destiny rather than dependence on a single employer, client, or market condition. Another cornerstone of financial intelligence is the habit of mindful spending. This is not about deprivation, it is about alignment. Every expense should be evaluated against its value, impact, and alignment with your long-term objectives. Impulsive spending, lifestyle inflation, and unplanned consumption erode wealth and freedom. Strategic spending involves asking critical questions. Does this purchase move me closer to my goals? Will this expense compound benefits over time, or is it fleeting satisfaction? Mindful spending, when practiced consistently, turns money into a lever for growth rather than a drain on resources. Over time, this discipline compounds, transforming modest earnings into significant wealth through the cumulative effect of informed decisions. Equally essential is the understanding of saving and investing as a system, not a one-time effort. Saving alone is not enough. Money loses power when it sits idle, subject to inflation or stagnation. Investing strategically, whether in stocks, real estate, businesses, or education, allows money to generate returns and grow exponentially. But investing is not speculation. Financial intelligence requires study, analysis, and deliberate choice. The disciplined investor evaluates risk versus reward, considers time horizons, and diversifies holdings to mitigate exposure. Over time, consistent intelligent investing produces leverage, the ability to grow wealth without proportional increases in effort. This is where money transitions from a passive resource to an active force shaping your life. Another key aspect of financial mastery is debt management. Debt can be a powerful tool or a crippling burden. Smart debt, used for investments, education, or growth opportunities, can accelerate wealth creation. Poor debt, used for consumption, luxury, or convenience, destroys freedom and compounds stress. Financially intelligent individuals understand the difference. They leverage credit strategically, avoid high-interest liabilities, and prioritize paying down destructive debt while allocating resources toward growth. Mastery over debt is mastery over stress and leverage. It frees mental and financial energy to focus on opportunities that compound results over time. Financial intelligence also involves anticipating financial risks and planning for contingencies. Life is unpredictable. Emergencies, market fluctuations, and unexpected expenses can derail anyone's plans. Strategically prepared individuals maintain an emergency fund, insurance coverage, and contingency strategies to weather these disruptions without panic or compromise. Risk planning is not about pessimism, it is about foresight. It allows you to act decisively when circumstances change and ensures that temporary setbacks do not snowball into permanent crises. This principle transforms vulnerability into security and fear into confidence. Another critical principle is leveraging knowledge and education. Money is not only about earning and saving, It is about making informed choices. Financially intelligent individuals continually educate themselves about economics, markets, personal finance, tax strategies, and investment opportunities. They seek mentorship, analyze trends, and make decisions based on evidence rather than impulse. Knowledge amplifies power because it reduces uncertainty, enhances decision-making, and allows you to act where others hesitate. Over time, this expertise compounds, giving you an edge that is far more valuable than any short-term windfall. Equally important is the mindset of abundance, rather than scarcity. Many people approach money from a perspective of fear. Fear of running out, fear of risk, fear of missing out. Scarcity thinking constrains creativity, traps you in limiting behaviors, and diminishes opportunities. By contrast, an abundance mindset views money as renewable and opportunity-rich. It allows calculated risk-taking, strategic investment, and generosity, all of which multiply wealth and influence over time. Financially intelligent people understand that money is not finite. It is a dynamic tool that grows exponentially when aligned with strategy, foresight, and disciplined action. A final, transformative aspect of financial intelligence is alignment with life goals and values. Money, while powerful, is not the ultimate goal. It is a tool to achieve freedom, impact, and fulfillment. Every financial decision should be evaluated against the life you want to live, the legacy you wish to leave, the freedom you seek, the opportunities you wish to create. When financial strategy aligns with purpose, wealth becomes a vehicle for meaning rather than a source of stress or empty accumulation. This alignment transforms the pursuit of money from a chore or obsession into a deliberate, purpose-driven strategy that amplifies every area of your life. As you listen to this audiobook, understand that mastering money is not about following a strict formula, working harder, or accumulating without intention. It is about awareness, strategy, and deliberate action. It is about seeing money as a tool, diversifying income, spending mindfully, investing intelligently, managing debt, preparing for risks, continually learning, adopting an abundance mindset, and aligning finances with purpose. Financial intelligence is the multiplier that turns effort into freedom, work into leverage, and opportunity into sustainable success. Those who master it gain not just wealth, but autonomy, resilience, and the ability to shape life on their own terms. By integrating these principles, you make money work for you, not the other way around, and you take a giant step toward mastering the game of life. Chapter 7. Health and Energy Management. Your foundation for success. Imagine trying to play a high-stakes game with a battery that's half drained, a blurry vision, and a body that protests at every movement. That is exactly what most people do in life. They underestimate the role of health and energy, focusing instead on skills, ambition, or luck, only to find that without a strong physical and mental foundation, progress is limited, inconsistent, and exhausting. Health and energy management is not just about avoiding sickness or fitting into a certain size. It is about optimizing your body and mind to perform at their absolute best, consistently. It is the fuel for every other pursuit in life. Without energy, clarity, and vitality, discipline falters, decision-making suffers, relationships strain, and wealth-building slows. This chapter is about teaching you to see health and energy as strategic assets, critical to mastering the game of life, and about showing practical, actionable ways to maintain, increase, and leverage them daily. The first principle is understanding the body as a system, not a series of isolated chapters. Too often, people focus narrowly on exercise, diet, or supplements, thinking that improving one aspect alone will transform their vitality. The truth is that health is an interconnected system where sleep, nutrition, movement, stress management, and mental habits all interact. For example, poor sleep impairs hormonal balance, cognitive function, and energy levels, making exercise and nutrition less effective. Similarly, chronic stress disrupts digestion, immunity, and mental clarity, undermining the benefits of diet and fitness. Strategic health management requires a holistic approach, one that considers the body and mind as a single, integrated machine. When each component is optimized, the system functions synergistically and energy multiplies, creating a foundation for sustained performance. Sleep is the cornerstone of this system. Yet, in modern culture, sleep is often sacrificed in the name of productivity or entertainment. High performers understand that sleep is not optional. It is non-negotiable. It is during deep restorative sleep that the body repairs tissues, the brain consolidates memory, hormones balance, and energy is replenished. Chronic sleep deprivation is the silent thief of productivity, clarity, and vitality. To optimize sleep, prioritize consistent sleep-wake schedules, create a calming pre-sleep routine, reduce exposure to artificial light and electronics, and cultivate a sleep environment that supports rest. By treating sleep as a strategic tool rather than a passive activity, you ensure that your energy and focus are not just present, but operating at peak capacity. Nutrition is another critical lever. The human body functions optimally on quality fuel, not convenience or empty calories. Strategic nutrition focuses on foods that sustain energy, enhance cognitive function, and support physical performance. Balanced intake of protein, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates, and micronutrients ensures that your body has the resources needed for sustained activity and recovery. Hydration is equally important. Even mild dehydration can impair focus, mood, and performance. Beyond what you eat, timing also matters. Aligning meals with energy demands, avoiding excessive sugar crashes, and incorporating periods of digestion-focused attention can transform energy levels. Nutrition is not merely about appearance, it is about function, performance, and the ability to operate at your best in every aspect of life. Movement and exercise form the next pillar of health and energy. The human body is designed for activity, yet modern lifestyles encourage sedentary patterns that degrade strength, endurance, and resilience. Exercise is not just about aesthetics, it is a tool to enhance circulation, oxygenation, metabolic efficiency, mental clarity, and mood. Strategic exercise balances cardiovascular conditioning, strength training, flexibility, and mobility. Beyond formal workouts, daily activity, walking, stretching, posture awareness supports sustained energy. Movement also has profound cognitive benefits, enhancing focus, memory, and stress resilience. By incorporating regular, intentional movement into your life, you maintain a body that is agile, strong, and capable of supporting all your goals. Stress management is equally crucial. Life presents constant challenges, decisions, and pressures, and unmanaged stress drains energy, impairs immunity, and clouds judgment. Emotional and mental stress affects physical systems, creating a cycle of fatigue and reduced performance. Strategic energy management involves recognizing stress triggers, cultivating coping mechanisms, and incorporating restorative practices into daily life. Meditation, breathing exercises, journaling, and mindful breaks are not optional. They are performance-enhancing tools. By proactively managing stress, you preserve mental clarity emotional stability, and physical vitality, allowing you to approach challenges with composure and resilience rather than depletion and reaction. Mental and cognitive energy is another dimension that cannot be overlooked. Your brain is the command center of performance, and like any high-functioning system, it requires rest, stimulation, and focus. Mental energy management involves prioritizing high-value tasks during peak cognitive hours, minimizing distractions, and incorporating recovery periods to prevent burnout. Learning to focus intensely for short, productive bursts, often called deep work, maximizes efficiency and output while preserving cognitive reserves. Additionally, cultivating curiosity, continuous learning, and mental challenges strengthens cognitive resilience, ensuring your mind remains sharp, adaptable, and capable of strategic thought under pressure. Another critical factor is habits and routines that support energy flow. Strategic performers structure their days to align with natural energy cycles, incorporating nutrition, movement, focus periods, rest, and recovery intentionally. Routines reduce decision fatigue, conserve willpower, and automate behaviors that sustain energy. For instance, a morning routine that includes movement, a healthy breakfast, and a period of mental preparation sets the tone for the day, allowing peak performance from the start. Evening routines that incorporate reflection, relaxation, and preparation for the next day enhance recovery and readiness. By designing routines around energy management rather than reaction to circumstance, you maintain consistency, resilience, and momentum. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, stress management, and mental energy create the foundation. But equally important is listening to your body and mind. Energy levels, focus, and mood provide constant feedback about what is working and what is not. Awareness of these signals allows you to adjust habits, intensity, and recovery proactively. Ignoring signs of fatigue, mental overload, or physical strain leads to diminished performance and potential burnout. Strategic energy management is iterative. It requires continuous observation, adjustment, and optimization. By learning to interpret these cues, you operate not just reactively, but proactively, ensuring your body and mind function as powerful allies in every pursuit. Finally, the ultimate principle of health and energy management is viewing them as leverage rather than chores. Many people see exercise, diet, and rest as obligations or restrictions. Strategic performers see them as tools that multiply every effort, amplify productivity, and enhance quality of life. Health and energy are the invisible infrastructure that supports discipline, decision-making, creativity, relationships, and financial performance. They are not secondary, they are foundational. Every decision you make, every action you take, and every opportunity you pursue relies on the vitality of your body and clarity of your mind. Mastery over health and energy transforms fatigue into momentum, vulnerability into resilience, and limitation into potential. Without it, even the best strategies falter. With it, every move you make carries more power, focus, and effectiveness. As you listen to this audiobook, recognize that health and energy are not passive states. They are strategic assets to be cultivated, monitored, and optimized. Prioritize sleep. Fuel your body intentionally. Move consistently. Manage stress. Protect cognitive energy. Establish routines, and listen actively to your internal signals. Treat your body and mind as the most critical tools in the game of life, and every goal, dream, and ambition becomes more achievable, sustainable, and impactful. When energy is abundant, clarity is sharp, and resilience is built, You operate from a position of strength in every area of life, creating the ultimate leverage that propels mastery, success, and fulfillment. Chapter 8. Continuous learning and adaptability, the power to thrive in an ever-changing world. Imagine trying to play a game where the rules change every day, yet expecting to win by relying on yesterday's strategies. That is exactly what life demands in today's rapidly shifting world. Careers, technologies, industries, and even social dynamics evolve at an unprecedented pace. Those who cling to outdated knowledge, habits, or assumptions quickly fall behind, while those who embrace continuous learning and adaptability not only survive, they thrive. This chapter is about cultivating a mindset and a practice that ensures you remain relevant, capable, and empowered regardless of circumstances. Continuous learning and adaptability are not optional skills. They are the engines of growth, resilience, and mastery in the game of life. The first principle is adopting a growth mindset. A fixed mindset, the belief that abilities, intelligence, and outcomes are static, creates barriers to learning, innovation, and resilience. By contrast, a growth mindset views challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and abilities as improvable through effort and strategy. Those who cultivate a growth mindset actively seek feedback, explore new perspectives, and remain curious regardless of prior success or age. This mindset transforms obstacles into stepping stones, creating a life where each experience, both positive and negative, contributes to your personal and professional evolution. Continuous learning begins with the belief that you can always improve, adapt, and expand your capabilities, and that every moment offers an opportunity for growth. Next, recognize that learning is both deliberate and systematic. Random consumption of information, scrolling social media, passive reading, or fragmented advice rarely produces meaningful growth. Strategic learning involves setting clear objectives, identifying high-value skills, and designing a structured approach to acquisition. This includes selecting credible sources, practicing new skills, applying knowledge in real-world contexts, and reflecting on outcomes. For instance, if your goal is to enhance leadership abilities, you don't just read articles, you engage in structured study, observe exemplary leaders, practice decision-making, solicit feedback, and iterate. Deliberate learning turns scattered knowledge into mastery, enabling you to apply what you learn with precision and confidence. Closely tied to this is the practice of curiosity and exploration. Continuous learners are insatiably curious. They ask questions, seek alternative perspectives, and challenge assumptions. Curiosity drives discovery, innovation, and insight. It keeps you engaged with the world, open to new opportunities, and alert to emerging trends. Exploration may involve reading across disciplines, experimenting with new tools, engaging with unfamiliar environments, or interacting with people outside your usual network. By embracing curiosity, you expand the boundaries of your knowledge and create a versatile toolkit that allows you to adapt rapidly to changing circumstances. Adaptability requires comfort with uncertainty and change. Many people resist change, clinging to routines, familiar environments, or outdated methods, even when these no longer serve them. Strategic individuals recognize that change is inevitable, and they cultivate resilience by anticipating shifts, remaining flexible, and adjusting strategies proactively. Adaptable people see uncertainty not as a threat, but as a landscape of possibilities. They experiment, test, and iterate, learning quickly from mistakes and adjusting course without fear or hesitation. The ability to pivot gracefully transforms disruption into opportunity, ensuring that you not only survive change, but use it as leverage to gain advantage and accelerate growth. Another critical dimension is resilience and adaptability in the pursuit of purpose. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. Strategic individuals embrace these challenges as opportunities to refine, strengthen, and expand their impact. Obstacles are not deterrents, but catalysts for creative solutions, deeper insight, and greater influence. By persisting through adversity, maintaining focus on purpose, and adapting strategies as circumstances evolve, you ensure that legacy is not interrupted by temporary setbacks, but grows through persistence, innovation, and consistent alignment with core values. Generosity and contribution are also central to lasting legacy. Purpose is amplified when it serves others. When your work, resources, and influence create meaningful benefit beyond your personal gain. Acts of generosity, whether through mentorship, financial support, or sharing knowledge, create ripples that extend far beyond immediate perception. Purpose-driven generosity not only enriches the lives of others, but also reinforces the significance of your own life, establishing a cycle where impact multiplies through others. A life lived in contribution becomes a life remembered and revered, long after personal presence has ended. Finally, the ultimate principle of legacy and purpose is integration, ensuring that every aspect of life contributes to a coherent story of impact. Purpose, relationships, health, financial stewardship, time mastery, and continuous learning all converge to define the life you leave behind. Legacy is not accidental. It is the product of intentional design, strategic alignment, and consistent action across all domains. By approaching life with this integrative perspective, every decision, effort, and interaction is imbued with significance. You are no longer merely living. You are architecting a life that echoes beyond your own existence, shaping the world and the people who will continue after you. As you listen to this audiobook, understand that the most meaningful measure of life is not possessions, accolades, or fleeting achievements. It is the legacy you leave and the purpose that drives every action. Clarify your values, articulate your vision, align actions with impact, cultivate influence, act with integrity, reflect intentionally, embrace challenges, contribute generously, and integrate every element of life into a coherent, meaningful whole. Purpose transforms effort into meaning, and legacy transforms life into enduring influence. When you master both, you achieve not only success, but significance, a life that matters, inspires, and outlives you. Every choice, when guided by purpose, compounds into impact, ensuring that the game of life is played not just for the moment, but for the enduring difference you leave in the world. Time is the ultimate non-renewable resource. Unlike money, energy, or talent, once a moment passes, it is gone forever, irretrievable, immutable, and unyielding. Yet most people treat time as if it is infinite, reacting to distractions, succumbing to procrastination, and allowing others' agendas to dictate their daily rhythm. The consequence is not just stress or unfinished tasks. It is lost opportunity, diminished growth, and unrealized potential. Time mastery and productivity are not about working harder or longer. They are about working smarter, focusing on what truly matters, and structuring your life so that each moment contributes meaningfully toward your goals. This chapter is about transforming time from a passive flow into a strategic ally, giving you leverage, freedom, and the ability to achieve more without burning out. The first principle is clarity of purpose and priorities. Without a clear understanding of what matters most, even the most well-intentioned actions can become wasted effort. Strategic individuals begin by defining their long-term objectives, core values, and high-leverage activities, the actions that produce disproportionate results relative to time invested. Once priorities are established, time becomes a tool to serve them, rather than a set of random obligations or distractions. Every task, meeting, or engagement is evaluated against this framework. By consistently asking, "Does this move me closer to my goals?" you shift from reactive busyness to intentional action, ensuring that your energy and attention are invested in what truly drives results. Closely tied to this is the power of planning and structuring your day. Time mastery is not left to chance, it is engineered. High performers plan their days, weeks, and months strategically, allocating blocks of focused time for high-priority tasks while reserving space for reflection, learning, and rest. Tools such as time blocking, priority matrices, and task batching transform an overwhelming to-do list into a manageable, actionable roadmap. This structure reduces cognitive load, prevents decision fatigue, and ensures that attention is directed where it matters most. When your day is designed intentionally, productivity becomes a natural byproduct of alignment between action and purpose. Another critical principle is deep work and focus management. In a world saturated with notifications, messages, and distractions, the ability to focus without interruption is a rare and valuable skill. Deep work involves sustained periods of concentrated effort on cognitively demanding tasks, free from external interruptions. It allows you to produce higher quality work in less time and creates the mental space for creativity and strategic thought. Cultivating deep work requires both discipline and environmental design. Eliminating distractions, setting boundaries, and signaling to others that your focus time is protected. Over time, the ability to enter deep work states consistently multiplies productivity and accelerates mastery in any field. Equally important is the art of delegation and leverage. Time mastery is not about doing everything yourself. It is about allocating effort strategically. Delegation, outsourcing, and automation allow you to focus on high-value activities while others handle tasks that consume time without producing meaningful impact. This principle applies not only in business, but also in personal life. Hiring services, automating recurring responsibilities, and leveraging systems frees mental bandwidth and energy for creative, strategic, and growth-oriented pursuits. Mastery over delegation transforms time from a personal constraint into a scalable resource. Procrastination is another major obstacle to productivity, and overcoming it requires understanding the underlying psychology. People procrastinate for various reasons: fear of failure, perfectionism, lack of clarity, or overwhelm. Strategic performers recognize these triggers and develop countermeasures. Breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps, establishing deadlines, and leveraging accountability systems all reduce resistance and create momentum. By addressing the root causes of procrastination, rather than merely applying willpower, you cultivate consistent forward movement and preserve energy for what truly matters. Momentum is the currency of productivity, and small, deliberate actions, compounded over time, generate extraordinary results. Time mastery also requires periodic reflection and adjustment. Productivity is not a static skill, it is dynamic and context-dependent. Regular review of how time is spent, assessment of outcomes, and course correction ensure that your efforts remain aligned with evolving goals. Tools such as journaling, Weekly reviews and performance metrics provide insight into where time is wasted, where leverage can be applied, and how habits can be optimized. Reflection creates clarity, reduces inefficiency, and reinforces intentionality, transforming reactive routines into strategic action plans. Equally transformative is energy-based scheduling. Productivity is not solely about hours, it is about the alignment of tasks with natural energy cycles. High energy periods should be reserved for demanding or high-impact work, while lower energy periods can accommodate routine or administrative tasks. Understanding your peak cognitive and physical periods allows you to maximize output without overextending or burning out. Strategic energy management, combined with time mastery, ensures that effort is applied efficiently, results are maximized, and sustainability is maintained over the long term. Another essential principle is learning to say no and eliminate non-essential tasks. Time is finite, and every yes to a low-value activity is a no to something that truly matters. High performers protect their time aggressively, setting boundaries and prioritizing commitments based on strategic impact. Saying no is not rude or selfish. It is a critical act of self-respect and focus. By eliminating or delegating non-essential tasks, you create space for the activities that generate the greatest returns, whether in career, relationships, personal growth, or health. The integration of systems and routines is another key to sustained productivity. Systems reduce decision fatigue, automate repeated actions, and create predictable, high-efficiency workflows. Routines, morning rituals, work sprints, and evening reflections anchor your day in consistency and purpose. By combining systems and routines with strategic priorities, you reduce wasted effort, maintain momentum, and create an environment where productive behaviors are habitual rather than optional. Over time, these structures compound, transforming small daily actions into significant achievements and providing a consistent framework for mastery. Finally, the ultimate principle of time mastery is viewing time as leverage rather than a constraint. Strategic individuals recognize that time is not merely a resource to be consumed, it is a tool to be multiplied. By aligning focus, energy, priorities, and systems, you create exponential leverage, where effort produces disproportionately high results. Mastery over time is mastery over life itself. When you control your attention, protect your energy, and act strategically, you are no longer a victim of the clock. You direct your life intentionally, achieving more, experiencing less stress, and creating freedom to pursue what truly matters. Time mastery transforms everyday moments into opportunities for growth, success, and fulfillment, ensuring that your life is not merely lived, but strategically designed for impact and excellence. As you listen to this audiobook, recognize that mastering time is not about doing more. It is about doing the right things with clarity, focus, and strategic energy. Define priorities, structure your day, cultivate deep work, delegate, overcome procrastination, review progress, schedule by energy, say no, build systems, and leverage each moment. When you treat time as your most precious currency, every action compounds into meaningful results, and life becomes a sequence of deliberate, high-impact choices rather than scattered reactions. Mastery over time is the ultimate leverage, the silent force behind every achievement, and the foundation for a life of success, freedom, and fulfillment. Chapter 10. Legacy and Purpose. The life that outlives you. Imagine reaching the end of your life and realizing that despite all the success, wealth, and achievements, nothing you created truly mattered beyond your own presence. Many people chase accomplishments, recognition, or fleeting pleasures, only to feel empty when the applause fades. Legacy and purpose are the compass and anchor of a truly mastered life. They transform every choice, every action, and every pursuit into something meaningful, enduring, and impactful. Purpose gives clarity to your actions, while legacy ensures that your influence extends beyond the immediacy of your own existence. Together, they provide a framework for living intentionally, leaving a mark that persists even after you are gone. The first principle of purpose is clarity about your core values. Without a firm understanding of what truly matters to you, purpose becomes vague, externalized, or dictated by others. Strategic individuals take time to explore, define, and commit to their values, the principles that guide decisions, shape behavior, and determine what success really means. These values become the lens through which every opportunity, challenge, and relationship is evaluated. They prevent you from chasing empty goals and help you focus on endeavors that align with your deeper convictions. Purpose is born from self-awareness, reflection, and alignment with what resonates most profoundly in your life, forming a foundation for meaningful impact. Closely tied to values is vision, the ability to see your life as a whole and understand the mark you wish to leave. Vision transforms abstract intentions into concrete direction. It answers questions such as, what do I want to contribute to the world? How will I be remembered? Which aspects of life deserve my energy, attention, and creativity? Vision is not just about long-term ambition. It is about shaping your everyday actions to accumulate into a life that tells a coherent, powerful story. By articulating a clear vision, you orient all decisions, relationships, and efforts toward outcomes that matter, ensuring that life is purposeful rather than accidental. Legacy is the natural extension of purpose. It is the impact, influence, and contributions that endure after you are gone. Many people focus solely on personal success, forgetting that the ultimate measure of life is often the value created for others. Legacy manifests in various forms: relationships nurtured, knowledge shared, communities strengthened, innovations created, and inspiration impart. It is the ripple effect of deliberate action. Strategic individuals intentionally cultivate legacy through mentorship, teaching, philanthropy, innovation, and ethical leadership. By framing decisions with legacy in mind, they elevate short-term actions into long-term influence, ensuring that every effort contributes to something larger than themselves. Another critical principle is alignment between purpose, action, and impact. Purpose is ineffective without consistent execution. High-leverage individuals translate their vision into actionable goals, routines, and daily behaviors that reinforce their desired legacy. Every project, task, and interaction is evaluated against its contribution to long-term purpose. This alignment transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary impact, creating momentum where each step builds toward a cumulative effect that resonates beyond the immediate. Life becomes a series of intentional actions rather than reactive motions, and the sum of these actions defines your legacy. Equally essential is the cultivation of influence and empowerment. Purpose and legacy are amplified when you empower others, share knowledge, and create systems that outlast your individual contribution. Leaders, creators, and innovators understand that influence is multiplied when it is distributed. By teaching, mentoring, or enabling others to thrive, your impact extends far beyond your own efforts. Legacy is not merely personal, it is relational and systemic. Each person you inspire, guide, or support becomes a conduit for your purpose, creating exponential reach that continues even in your absence. Another cornerstone of legacy is integrity, the alignment between words, actions, and principles. Trust and credibility are the currency of enduring influence. When actions consistently reflect core values and stated purpose, others remember, respect, and emulate those behaviors. Integrity ensures that legacy is not hollow or transactional, but authentic and lasting. Decisions made with integrity reinforce reputation, inspire confidence, and cement the ethical and moral foundation upon which meaningful contributions are built. Without integrity, even the grandest achievements risk being forgotten or dismissed. With it, every action carries weight and permanence. Reflection is a vital tool for cultivating both purpose and legacy. High-impact individuals regularly evaluate their life, asking questions like, "Am I living in alignment with my purpose? Are my actions creating the impact I intend? Which relationships and endeavors will outlive me?" Reflection allows course correction, refocusing on what truly matters, and refinement of both strategy and execution. Legacy is not a product of passive accumulation. It is crafted intentionally through conscious reflection, iterative improvement, and purposeful action. By reflecting, you ensure that momentum is directed toward what counts most, rather than being dissipated on distractions or trivial pursuits.
Another crucial principle is reflection and synthesis. Learning without reflection is superficial. It fails to translate knowledge into wisdom or actionable insight. Strategic learners regularly pause to evaluate what they've learned, identify patterns, and integrate lessons into existing mental frameworks. Reflection turns experiences into understanding, ensuring that future decisions are informed by both success and failure. Synthesis, the ability to connect disparate ideas, concepts, or experiences, enhances creativity and problem-solving, allowing you to approach challenges with a more sophisticated and adaptable mindset. Over time, reflection and synthesis produce deep, intuitive knowledge that becomes a competitive edge in every domain. Equally important is practical application. Knowledge without execution is ineffective. Continuous learners prioritize doing, experimenting, and testing in the real world. This may mean implementing new strategies at work, practicing a new skill, or applying principles in personal life. Action solidifies learning, reveals gaps, and generates feedback for improvement. The interplay of study, reflection, and action creates a cycle of growth that compounds exponentially. Each iteration builds competence, confidence, and adaptability. Those who embrace this cycle develop skills that are not only theoretical, but practical, versatile, and resilient under pressure. Another essential component is embracing technology and tools. In a fast-evolving world, the ability to learn, adopt, and leverage technology is a decisive advantage. Strategic learners stay informed about tools, platforms, and systems that enhance efficiency, creativity, and problem-solving. They experiment, integrate, and optimize, ensuring that they remain at the forefront of innovation rather than falling behind. Technology is not a replacement for skill, wisdom, or judgment, but it is a multiplier, amplifying the impact of those who understand how to wield it effectively. Adaptability in the modern era requires fluency with tools and systems that can enhance performance across every area of life. Equally transformative is developing meta-learning skills, the ability to learn how to learn. Not all learning is equal, and the ability to quickly absorb, retain, and apply knowledge is a skill in itself. Meta-learners understand cognitive strategies such as spaced repetition, active recall, interleaving practice, and mental modeling. They optimize their study habits, identify high-leverage skills, and focus on learning that produces maximum impact. By mastering meta-learning, you accelerate growth, reduce wasted effort, and maintain an edge even as the knowledge landscape evolves. In essence, the skill of learning becomes a force multiplier, enabling you to acquire any capability necessary to navigate future challenges. Another critical factor is network-based learning and collaboration. The most adaptable individuals understand that knowledge is distributed, and collaborating with others accelerates learning. By engaging with diverse perspectives, mentors, peers, and experts, you gain insights that cannot be accessed alone. Strategic collaboration involves asking questions, observing best practices, sharing knowledge, and co-creating solutions. In a complex, interconnected world, the ability to tap into collective intelligence enhances both learning and adaptability, producing insights that compound far beyond what solitary effort can achieve. Finally, continuous learning and adaptability cultivate resilience and long-term advantage. The world will inevitably change, industries will shift, technologies will evolve, and unexpected challenges will arise. Those who embrace learning and adaptability are not at the mercy of circumstances. They are prepared to navigate, pivot, and seize opportunities. Knowledge and skills become not only assets but armor, allowing you to face uncertainty with confidence rather than fear. Continuous learning ensures that growth is perpetual, mistakes are lessons rather than setbacks, and each new challenge is a platform for advancement rather than an obstacle. As you listen to this audiobook, understand that mastery of life depends on your ability to learn, adapt, and evolve continuously. Adopt a growth mindset, structure deliberate learning, embrace curiosity, tolerate uncertainty, reflect, apply knowledge, leverage technology, develop meta-learning skills, and collaborate strategically. These practices ensure that you remain capable, relevant, and empowered in an ever-changing world. Learning is no longer optional. It is the mechanism through which you gain resilience, opportunity, and leverage. Adaptability transforms volatility into advantage, and continuous learning creates a life of growth, mastery, and unstoppable momentum in the game of life. Chapter 9. Time Mastery and Productivity: How to Make Every Moment Count.